Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Eric from Team 4855 Batteries in Black. I'm here with my fourth tutorial this time. I had to think about that just a sec. My fourth tutorial, and this one is about variables. Now, some of you guys who may be in middle school, you've probably heard the word variable in math class. Now, if you have, for this tutorial, I just want you to quickly forget. Just ignore everything you ever learned about variables in math, just for this tutorial, because it's only going to make it harder for you to understand what a variable is in programming. So it's really different, I'd have to say. They share some similar characteristics. I'm not going to be explaining how that works, but just forget what you know about variables. Let's start on a fresh page altogether. So I'll quickly create a program that is going to help me show you how this works. I'm just giving a random name. How about variable exercise? Let's start off with that. So what a variable is, let me get started in explaining. A variable is a way for you to save information. In my second tutorial, I showed you how to have blocks communicate with each other with data. Using a variable, there's a variable block, which we're definitely obviously gonna use pretty soon. But what the variable does is it allows you to save data so you can use it later. Let me quickly explain like what kind of saving this is. This saving is you save the information in the middle of a program and then use that information later on in the program. You can't save and then restart the program. If you save and then restart the program, everything you saved disappears, and so this isn't. Well, it is saving, but there's different levels of saving, and I just need to tell you that if you restart your program, all the variables you saved, all the data will actually disappear. This is only for remembering information in the middle of programs, which is really useful actually. So, in order to create a new variable to hold information, in order to create, you actually go to the edit menu and go to define variables. So this little window pops up, and you can click the create button to create a brand new variable, and you can give it a name. So basically, you can create as many variables as you need for this program. I'll create one for this program, but you can create 100. You can create thousands, but I'll call this. I'm gonna make a program today that's gonna use the light sensor. So I'm gonna save the light reading. So I'm gonna call this variable light reading, and you can give this variable a type. Now these are logic, number, and text. Those are the three data types I told you about in the second tutorial. So basically, what you do here is you limit the ability of the variable so that it can't save any type of data besides a number in this case. Light readings comes in numbers, so I'm going to use number instead of logic or text. But that actually helps you a lot, because if for some you never need a variable that can hold different types of data. If for some reason you're putting one type of data into another variable, that's going to give you an error, and that's actually going to help you because you're doing something wrong, and this is telling you that you're doing something wrong. So, and now that I've created the variable, I can close this. So, the example program I'm going to give to you today is, let's say, for example, your robot needs to find which side is brighter. So the robot's going to turn to the left and then turn 90 degrees to the left and then 180 degrees to the right, and then it's going to remember which side. Your light sensor is going to be pointed up and forward, so it can remember which side was brighter and turn backwards whichever the brighter side was. So I'll quickly do that. I don't know what your robot looks like, so I'm going to just turn left an arbitrary 1 rotation. How much you turn in order to turn 90 degrees is going to be different for every robot depending on how large your wheels are, what your gear ratio is, and how far apart your wheels are. But so I'm just creating a random thing and having this robot turn left by 1 rotation, hoping it turns 90 degrees. So then you can go up to your you can grab your sensor block, because your sensor block is going to tell you what the reading is. And I can tell you here that this port is going to give off the light reading. Now we can go to data and pull up a variable block that I talked about earlier. And in each variable block, you get to choose which variable you're using. I just created light reading, so we're going to use light reading. And here there's two options, read and write. So read is, well, I guess there's two things you need to do with a variable when you save information, right? There's one action where you save the information, that's write, and there's another action later on in the program when you want to know what you saved, and that would be the read. So in this case, we're using a write because we need to save the information in here. Alright, that's done. Whoopsie daisies. Double click to get rid of the wire. And then, now that the number is saved, I'm going to turn right 180 degrees, that's turning 2 rotations, and get the light reading again, so that I'll know, I'll know how I'm what the other light reading is, so I can compare with the first light reading. And that, in order to compare, I'll need to use a math block, I'm gonna need so I'll grab my data block again, or sorry, I'm grabbing my variable, because this time I'm going to access what I just my previous light reading, the saved variable. This time I'm going to select the read option because I'm not writing information to it. This time I'm actually accessing what I saved back over here, except I'm accessing it here later on in the program. So I can give this thing to here and give this thing to here. So let's say light reading, the previously saved light reading, that's going to A. So if A is greater than B, if the old light reading was greater than the new light reading, that means the old location is brighter than the new location, and we need to turn back. If the new location is brighter, then we just stay where we are because it's already we're already on the brightest side. So I'm gonna grab a switch block actually. I never told you, but switch blocks can actually instead of using a sensor like the touch sensor, it can use logic. So you can go to value, and it's true and false. So I can pull this information into here. So whoopsie daisies. Again, whoa, I've completely forgot what I was talking about earlier. So if A is greater than B, meaning the old light reading is brighter than the new light reading, I should probably turn backwards. So I'll grab my move block and turn left again. And 2 rotations, so I end up fully 180 degrees. And if it's not, this means that the new light reading, this light reading, is greater than here. The new light reading is brighter than the old light reading. That means I'm in the right location already, so I'm not going to do anything. I'm leaving this part blank. And that finishes up this program where the robot is going to end up facing whichever side was brighter. Now you can obviously do this with a lot of different cool stuff in FLL programs. Really, like in the technical judging of your competition, the judges would, like, their eyes would pop out if they saw you using this, because this is some of the fanciest stuff. Like when you use variables, like along with data wiring, they know you really know what you're doing with programming, and that's obviously a great thing for the competition. But it's also great because you can write a lot of fancy programs. Like data doesn't really work very well if you don't have variables to work with them. And so this tutorial kind of gives you the full picture about how to use data with variables, how not only harness data but also save data. So that concludes this tutorial. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment any questions you have about this particular topic, or tell us about any other topic you want us to cover. Don't worry, we'll do it just for you. And that would be all. Thank you for watching.